Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
Tuesday, May 19th at 10:30 a.m., it's morning baseball. Wednesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m., have a pawsome time at Bark in the Park. Thursday, May 21st at 6:30, it's Pride Night with $5 Bud or Bud Light draft beer. Individual game tickets start at just $12.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Excuse me! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And I like to bring in Enrique Tarrio of the Proud Boys and future who the hell knows what, where it is he might be looking at Congress or something like that. Enrique, welcome back. How are you?
What's up, Greg? And like you said in the beginning, we got to thank President Trump for this. I mean, it's promise made and promise kept day after day with the president. And, this is the second happiest day after I got to hug my mom at the airport getting out of prison. So I'm really, really thankful to the president and the DOJ. Look, I've been critical about the DOJ lightly because I think they've done an excellent job. I just think, maybe I have unrealistic expectations, but Todd Blanche has done a great job. Harmeet Dillon, Ed Martin, the whole team, Stanley Woodward, everybody's done such a great job here and putting our lives back together. And it's not favoritism. We're not seeking favoritism. We're seeking equality under the law, justice. And that is what we saw delivered today.
So what was delivered, and let's go through this for a moment. It just came out. I got a letter here, the Office of the Attorney General, and they have a big settlement here. Capitalize this document. Within 60 days of the effective date, the United States shall provide the U.S. Department of the Treasury with all necessary forms and documentation to direct a payment of $1.776 billion to an account for the sole use by the Anti-Weaponization Fund designated account. The corpus of the Anti-Weaponization Fund's funding does not represent the value of any claim. Okay, now it gets very, very legal. But the important part is there is a fund to compensate people like you and many others who were, had your lives turned upside down and are frankly owed money. Now, I fear that this is going to get very, very, look, anytime there's money on the table, things can get a little bit ugly. You know what I mean? And there could be, I don't know. And the January Sixers have already been a little bit fractured, shall we say. Is there going to be there's going to be some drama here, don't you anticipate?
Look, with whatever decision, there's always drama, but I think, it's not only two J6ers, the COVID doctors, the Christian moms, the people, the school board, people that, were protesting abortions. Those people, I think, are included too. I'm not sure how this works, but for the most part, I think, look, you can't escape the drama. Because, look, I say this all the time. I have a very strong support system, very good family, very good group of friends, very good brothers in my group, huge, people that advocated for us, like you, Greg, that helped me out. And I did a lot of time. I did 3 years in solitary confinement, and there's people that only did, I hate saying the word only, but they did 10 days in jail, at their local county jail for January 6th. But maybe that person lost a lot more than I did. Maybe they lost a relative that passed away while they were away for 10 days. Maybe they lost their careers or jobs. Maybe they were ostracized. So I think it's hard to gauge pain and suffering. And I think that some people still have that PTSD, that went through this and they're going through those pains, and there's no amount of money that can help that. This does help them, but I think it to some people it goes beyond. I'm just thankful every day. I thank God every day that I'm here. I thank my support system, and I pray, that, those that are going through such a rough time, there's, Greg, you've had her on the show, Jerry. No amount of money is going to bring Matthew Perna back, So there's some things that the Biden administration, the Trump administration can't help because those losses are astronomical. So looking at what Biden did, it goes beyond this, but this is an amazing step in the right direction. And we're going to have to go through that drama. And I'm going to have to talk to J6ers and be like, look, I get it. But and that's what I try for my role to be within the J6 community, is kind of like just help people out. And the president has definitely made a huge kept a huge promise that he made, and is to make our lives whole. So I'm very, very thankful to the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And if he was in front of me right now, I'd probably hug him really, really tight.
It's really interesting what you just said earlier, though, that you spent 3 years in solitary, yet your loss may not be as severe as somebody who was 10 days in jail, in a county jail. It's very interesting, Enrique, to be honest. I did not. Wow. That's a fascinating interpretation, and it's very, very kind of kind-hearted on your part. That's really something. Hey, do me a favor. Listen to this guy. Where's our cut two, if you don't mind? I think you'll recognize the voice, Enrique. Cut two.
I know that Jimmy helped to evacuate me from the building and drove me to MedStar Washington Hospital Center, despite suffering significant injuries himself. At the hospital, doctors told me that I had suffered a heart attack, and I was later diagnosed with a concussion, a traumatic brain injury, and post-traumatic stress disorder.
All right, stop for a second. Now, I've known for a long time that this is fake, and I have shown the body camera footage before, and the before and after pictures of him and what he looked like 7 days later. I want to talk about your confrontation with Fanone. Can I just ask you overall, Fanone is trending right now, and a lot of people are pointing out some of the stuff and that I've known for a long time, that you've known for a long time. Why is he trending? Because I don't see anything new. I'm glad that he's being exposed once again as a fraud, but lots of people are talking about it in our world. Why is that happening? Do you know?
So, like you said, Greg, we've known about this for a long time. We haven't had the full body cam footage of Fanone, but we did have a piece of it, and I think it was very telling, where he's sitting there, he's on the curb, he's laughing, he's saying he's okay, and then you hear the testimony, the perjury that we just heard in front of a congressional committee, because you're supposed to swear an oath there, and now we're seeing the full video come out. We see that every single one of the things that he said was a lie. And he championed, not only for me, for a lot of people. He came to the sentencing for a lot of people and said that they didn't get enough time. I'm talking about people with over a decade in sentence. Oh, they didn't get enough time. When they themselves did not touch a police officer, they didn't break anything. They just walked in and out of the Capitol. So, look, I could have used, I think I've said this on your show before, Greg. I think I could have used better words when I confronted him. I let my anger get the best of me. But what I was saying rings true to today. He's turned into a propaganda czar for the left, and now their entire narrative is crumbling. And that couldn't be possible if the Democrats would have stolen the election in 2024. And thank God that we have a president that truly cares, a president that wants the truth.